These are the most crazy questions, from the sublime to the ridiculous. The so-called yoga, which the West and part of the East in India, was invented about the 17th and 18th century, the exercises, in order not only to have a very good body, healthy body, through force, you understand, through discipline, through control, in order to awaken so-called higher energy. The real yoga, which is called Raja Yoga, King of Yogas, is to lead a highly moral life, not morality according to circumstances, according to culture, but true ethical activity in life, not to hurt, not to drink, not to drug yourself, right amount of sleep, right amount of food, clear thinking and acting morally, doing the right thing. They never mentioned, as far as I understand, after talking with a great many scholars, they never mentioned about exercise. They say exercise normally, walk, swim, all that, but their emphasis was a very moral life, a mind which is active. And modern yoga, the meaning of the word you all know, you probably know. I have talked to the scholars too, and they say it doesn't quite mean that, which is to join. The meaning of the word yoga is to join the higher with the lower or the lower with the higher. You understand, in modern yoga, I don't know why I am talking about all this nonsense. I don't know why they call it yoga. It should be called just exercise, but that wouldn't appeal to you. You have to pay money to learn yoga, to breathe properly and all that. You can practice yoga, the exercises of different kinds. The speaker has done some of it for years, taught by the experts. Fortunately, they didn't charge because they also thought I was an expert. Sorry, laughter. I am not an expert, and so they soon deserted me, or I deserted them, whichever way. Sirs, you can do this kind of yoga, exercise for the rest of your life. You won't awaken spiritual insight, nor will the awakening of a higher energy come into being. You know, in the East they have a word for this called Kundalini. Some of you probably have read or been caught in that word, but most of the people, as far as I have discussed with them, who have gone into this matter very deeply, they are always quoting somebody else, back to the original mischief maker. Sorry, laughter. And none of them, please believe me, none of them have awakened this thing. They talk about it. They feel certain experiences which they call by this name. I have discussed with them very seriously, and what they are talking about is a certain form of increasing energy to do more mischief. I mean that. By eating the right food, by control, by breathing properly, etc., 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 you have more energy naturally, and that gives you a sense of superiority, and you are enlightened and so on. But there is a different form of, I won't go into it because you are all eager, I am not touching it. That can only happen when the self is not. Then there is a totally different kind of energy to keep the mind fresh, young, alive, and that can only come when there is absolutely no sense of the self, right, obviously? Because the self, the me, the center is in constant conflict, right? Wanting, not wanting, creating dualities, opposing desires, this constant struggle that's going on. When that struggle is not, there is a totally different kind of energy taking place, right? There is the story of a man, a philosopher, or a patriarch, who was a well-known teacher. And a disciple came to him and said, "Master, I have come to learn the truth." And the master said, "Come with me." And they walked down to a river. And the master took the disciple into the river. And when they were about waist deep, he pushed the disciple under the water and held him there. The disciple struggled, and finally the master let him go. And the disciple came up gasping. And the master said, "When you desire the truth as much as you desired that breath of air, then come back." You understand? That intensity, that seriousness, that urgency is necessary.